if you think, okay, all this passing data, stuff like that is a bit complex, it can get much more complex in a complex application. And in particularly, there are, if you're using fragments where you can have reusable parts of your thing, we haven't really touched that, then it's actually very easy to make that go incorrectly. So what they've done is they made this library called the navigation library that solves this all and make it work correctly for you. So with a little bit of overhead, as we always see. So navigation library, if you want to use it, go and read the documentation. You need to add some extra components to your Gradle script. And some extra dependencies. And then what you can do is you can create a new Android resource and make it the navigation type. And yes, you can have, like any other resource, all these different variants for different screen sizes. I don't see how that makes any sense to actually do that in this particular case, but you could. You can do it for different versions of the operating system. So what you can basically do in there, so this is just a screenshot from the documentation because that was a little bit easier to do. So you have, so it works with fragments only. So you cannot work, so you have one activity and everything else is a fragment in there. That's one of the complexities added. They say basically use from this perspective, say use fragments for all your UI. Yeah, in a way, it's a choice what you want to do, but with this, so basically we have a host is an activity that basically needs to have a controller in there where you can then manage all these fragments that you're using. So the host just has the fragment controller inside it, and then we can have the different fragments of the different screens. So you can actually just edit your things. You can actually say, okay, there's different ways of transit. So what you can create is like, if you do a particular action on this screen, you can add actions to a particular fragment. We have an action that says, okay, so we start with fragment main, and we might go to things like fragment view balance or whatever the thing is. I don't know. Doesn't matter. So you can basically create these relationships. So yeah, to fragment view balance, and add things like arguments. You can give it default values. There is so it gives you the ability to pass the parameters along in the right way, and the library has support to then read that. There's also yeah, it has gone down. Okay. So let's have a look then. It says it's on, but okay, it's back up. Okay. So yes, so I've recorded it anyway, so I'll make sure that we have something usable. But yeah, so the unfortunate, it's a bit tricky. That's why I wanted to experiment with it. So the fragment. So we have this. You can pass this thing. What you can do is you can put in a Gradle plugin that actually generates code that allows you to do it in a type-safe way. So it creates functions for you based on Kotlin mainly. So the Kotlin experience with that is a lot friendlier. So what it basically do is you just say you get this rather longly named method that you just pass the parameters in, and then it will start the right activity. So you don't need to put stuff into intents and stuff like that. That's all done for you. So that is, and it will remember where you were if you close the program and stuff like that. So it all works the way it's supposed to. So that's so this is the layout editor, and it can do some really cool stuff for you. if you're interested in those things. Okay. Yes. And of course, the active application is not the presentation thing, so it doesn't work. So the navigation library, so it makes this easy. We link the data to the navigation, so it makes it just easier to do this correctly. And of course, this is more important if you have big applications where you have a lot of developers working on things, and then it's much easier to give them a function that just asks for an integer than to make sure that they know the right name and that it needs to be an integer, not a string. So that's what we want to effectively do. It does come a little bit of extra ceremony to set it up and also to use it. So there's a particular way how you get the values out of that. And but with the code generation bit, it becomes quite manageable.